So the next step here at between 6 and 7 hours into the game is apparently to go get Karlach. Let's bring this up here. We can see that the closest real quest marker that I want to do is hunt down Karlach. I'm still putting off speaking with Karga, and I haven't hit the hidden cache yet. There's a bunch over to the west. But Karlach next. So my plan is to dismiss Lizelle from the party and put the Everburn blade on Karlach.
Calm down. Please.
I'm kind of waffling on this a little bit. I don't like Lizelle as a character, but fighter versus barbarian, you know. Anyway, I will probably come down on the side of actually having Karlach in the party. But until we get there, I will have Lizelle in case I come across anything I need to fight. I have apparently some things I haven't sold yet. Let's take care of that before we go. Some of this I'm going to put in the party chest in camp. Anything that I will potentially need, I don't know how much of Halsin's stuff I need to have. So those things are going to go to the camp. And we're going to sell the junk. We're not going to get a whole lot of silver for this stuff. I believe that's everything. And Will, at some point he may go back to wearing cloth instead of armor. Let's sell off that padded armor. So potentially we could have Will use mage armor, but I think I have gone over this before.
We don't even know these people.
That doesn't matter.
Mage armor gives you decent armor if your dex is good. His dex isn't that good. So basically I'm keeping him in armor until I find some really good magic items that will bring his armor class up in combination with mage armor. And then I will have to worry about whether I'm getting mage armor or not. And Will may never get that. Anyway, so let's
At least things have stayed interesting.
see if I can sell off the last little bits and bobs.
Need anything else?
Yeah, I stole all this stuff from Nettie and I'd like to sell it to you.
Of course. But please, remember, you're not the only one in need.
Okay, so we're going to go to trade and sell wares. And now we have nothing left to sell. And he's probably got things we want to buy. He's got some +1 armor. I believe everybody is
Calm down.
good. She's got her nice chain shirt. Lizelle has her Githyanki half plate, which is armor class 15. And Will and I are in padded armor +1, so we're doing okay on that. You can see he still has all the junk we have sold him. I could give somebody a +1 to dex saving throws. Yeah. If I notice anybody in my party is just barely failing saving throws, I'll start worrying about getting leather helmets.
Sylvanus be with you.
Okay, so we're all set. Let's head out towards the west, where we see the circle for Karlach.
These tieflings prove fragile. I have a mind to end their misery myself.
Harsh. Remind me to stay on your good side.
You were never on my good side. Why does this keep...
Now, I've been messing around with a organization of the hotbar that only uses 3 rows, because this top row of indicators overlaps my weight here. So I will be thinking about that.
Yeah. I'll be keeping an eye on you.
Does nobody clean up their front porch?
If I choose to kill
I mean,
you,
goodness.
you will not even see it.
Oh, backpack.
Small.
And tracks
bipedal,
over there.
goblins.
Or something over there. Hold on.
Bet that will fit in my pack.
There's a stone door here. Let me peek at what's inside. It's an underground passage.
Should mind my step. Glowing eyes are rarely a good sign. Best be careful.
Okay, so I'm going to come back here once I've got Karlak in the party. I think we could probably deal with some goblins in this party, but I'd rather have this be our inaugural battle with Karlak. You can see I am really looking forward to getting Karlak in the party. Now,
So, Gith, aren't you worried your kind will punish you for consorting with us?
My name is Lae'zel Chucky, and my kin will understand my need for servants. They will help you, but only if I ask.
what's going on over there?
What's in here?
We'll come back and explore that once we've got... Let's, eyes on the prize. Focus on the goal.
It's strange. It looks healthy, but it's stone dead.
Examine. So it's dead. Level 2 boar, exsanguinated and dead. Okay. So we are headed kind of north of here. We'll come back and get the hidden cache. We've got something going on here, and we have a hidden door. So here and here and here. There's a whole bunch of stuff right in here that I want to come back to.
Lae'zel, how would you punish someone who wronged you?
Wrong me how?
Oh, say, murder or theft?
Killing is good. It culls the weak. But theft would be paid for painfully, 1,000 times over.
Good to know.
Okay, so
Goblins. Dead travelers.
Were they heading to the Druid's Grove?
whole bunch of stuff to loot out here in front of these gates to this town. I'm not going to go in there because that's likely to be more stuff that will squirrel us. But I am going to come up there and loot the backpack and the tiefling.
Something's waiting up ahead.
Yeah, and it can continue waiting until we come back with our actual party. So heading off to the north.
Your sour face is tiring, Shadowheart. By all means leave if I am so distasteful.
I'd rather not turn my back on you.
Keep my
If
eyes
it's all the
out.
same.
Okay, I'm going to pause here for a second. We have been picking up a whole bunch of ingredients. So I'm going to extract all the ingredients. That did all of these suspensions and vitriols and acids, all these things where we're just combining ingredients to extract. It's this 3-to-1. And I have been learning those as we go along. And this is kind of a 2-layer crafting system, fairly simple for somebody that's come from Factorio and Satisfactory and all the other games like that. Basically, your ingredients get turned into kind of an extract of some sort, and then you make stuff out of them. Things like can take this suspension and any sublimate turn out a simple toxin. Or I can oil my blade to make myself more accurate. Grenades, I can make alchemist's fire if I can get ashes of fire ember. We've got elixirs of fire resistance and peerless focus. So this is this is going to help concentration, I guess. It's not telling me exact numbers. And we've got potion of mind reading and healing and featherfall and antidote. So antidotes take mugwort and suspensions, and these are poison antidote of some sort. Potions of healing, I am building up some. I need to remember to use it when I'm in combat and getting hurt. Maybe I'll rely a little less on taking long rests so frequently. But right now, it's Rogue's Morsel and any suspension. I think Rogue's Morsel is only used in the healing potion, as far as I know. So I'm going to go ahead and craft all of the Rogue's Morsel into potions of healing. And that will... Look at all this stuff I've looted already. Goblins drawing a charcoal figure of... Well, let's examine that. What is this thing that I looted a bit ago and didn't even notice? Childlike charcoal drawing of 3 stick figures. I can read it. Drawn in thick charcoal lines upon an animal skin, this childlike portrait depicts 3 stick figures, a goblin with sparks in its hands, a square humanoid figure, and what appears to be an elf. Each of them is wearing a simple crown. Okay, so 3 leaders of some sort. Goblin with sparks in its hands, that's some sort of a caster, probably with a cantrip to touch lightning. Square humanoid figure and an elf, and no information on those. And the simple crown, it's just a kid's way of saying these are the leaders. Let's put this in camp. Mark things as wares that I'm just going to sell. In theory, I should be keeping all of my scrolls and passing them by the wizard to see if he wants to learn them. I think I'm going to start doing that on purpose now. Broken loot I can sell. Spoons, forks, shield, agate. These are all things I can sell. So I can throw a grease bottle. I haven't yet figured out the throw mechanics, and I think I'm going to just kind of play without them because I never remember to use my consumables. All this is add to wares. And these guys are going to go to camp. We have 2 shovels. Split item. And one of my shovels is going to be wares. There we go. I see a dog up there named Scratch. Who has speak to animals? Well, I need to... No, this is not a... Yeah, this does last until long rest. Oh, recycles at long rest. How long does it last? Oh, 1 corpse, 5 questions. Okay, don't use that. Was it Will? Yes. Let's go talk to Scratch.
Time for a chat.
Keep moving, stranger. Quietly. I told you to go.
Okay, I'm going to persuade him. Interesting, I'm talking to him, so I'm not getting the animal handling check. Let's get some guidance. This gives me a 6 to 9 on a DC 15. Oh, good.
There's death in your scent, but not in your words. Still, you should go. My friend is injured. He needs rest. Of course he will. And then we'll return home. He calls me Scratch. You can do the same.
Okay, that's Scratch.
We were attacked. Cackling, furry things on 2 legs. And their smell, it was strange, rotten, evil.
You know the creatures he describes. Gnolls.
Knowles. Okay.
No, I won't leave him. If it comes to that, I may. Thank you.
Okay, I like how that plays out. I have recruited Scratch before using animal handling, but actually talking with him as a character,
Heading out.
well, that's a good touch. I like it. Okay, continue to pick up stuff. Oh, there's some stuff off to the right. Number 3 Rogue's Morsels is a healing potion.
Laser, have you ever done a good deed just for the sake of it?
I have performed deeds well and efficiently. Is this what you mean?
Exactly. Lots of them.
Okay. So I can see on the mini-map that this is not where I can cross. Ah, there's the bubble. Now, I don't actually like spearing through the darkness like this. I really should have been exploring as I went along. I'm going to cross the river and head kind of off to the right. See if I can pick some of that stuff up.
It is a fact. Life in this Faerun is laughably weak.
Okay, so now we're going to start jumping around. Rock hopping. A skill that I learned as a Boy Scout. Okay, so off to the right is where it says hunt down Karlach. Okay, we're not all here yet. Hey, Will. Okay, we're going to separate the party so the rest of the party doesn't go down to where Will is. And I am going to show Will exactly where to jump. Because apparently he's an idiot.
All right, what now?
Onward.
Moving in.
Oh, we have stuff to loot. Murgrass. We have a toll collector's key.
Key. Wonder what it opens.
I'm sure we will find out what that key opens. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and take another look at my bar. I've been fiddling around on other characters with reducing this to 3 rows rather than 4. You can see how it wouldn't be hard to do that here.
I've been told I'm quite sentimental.
Does everybody...
No.
She might have to have some things moved around.
Waiting. I crave blood.
I will think about it.
Eager for battle.
Oh, and he's got dancing lights and... Oh, she got dancing lights and jump, which I need to move over here. Oh, jump can go here. I shouldn't spend a whole lot of time worrying about her stuff because I am about to send her back to camp. Let's do that.
The Githyanki people have a word for men like the Blade of Frontiers. Shalak. Roughly translated, idealist do-gooder. Or better yet, benevolent burden. His confidence is an asset. His pursuit of valor, not so much.
And that's why I want you to wait in camp, Lizelle.
Shook. You
Oh, I
believe
need
you
to get
can
her
survive
sword off
without
of
me.
her.
A practical choice.
Yeah, I almost forgot. That sword you're carrying, that's mine. That crossbow you're carrying, that's mine. Those potions of healing are mine, and I'm going to take everything off of you because I don't think that you are going to come back. Underwear, boots, clothes, Githyanki plate, boots. I think she is ready to put in camp. Talk.
Shook. You believe you can survive without me.
Yeah. I will have no
As
problem
you say,
surviving without you.
Do not keep me waiting.
Now, she's got main character syndrome, and she is definitely not the main character of this thing. I am going to be talking to Karlach. What I really want is to start off with guidance. There we go. And I need to remember to drop... Whoop, no, not her. It's another reason to drop autosaves is because I fumble the user interface. She burning.
One horn, the stink of Avernus. Advocatus Diaboli.
Well, I'll be God's damned. The Blade of Frontiers. Thought I'd shaken you for good. That'll teach me to underestimate you.
So she's the devil we've been hunting, right?
Bloody right. An honor to be chased by the Blade of Frontiers, but I...
A great heat roars through you. Her heat, fiery as the hells. Then you're lost in visions of demonic armies as you tear through a landscape of fire and blood. The Blood War. You saw it from above as the Nautiloid passed through Avernus. This woman was on the front line.
What was that?
Evidence. Proof that you're a devil. A gladiator in the archdevil Zariel's army.
I can explain, but it's a whole situation. If you just hear me out...
Another vision. Karlach's blade raised, slicing through devils, Zariel's servants, as her eyes dart around, seeking escape. Her rage and desperation seep into you. She is a victim of the Blood War, not an agent of it.
She's trying to trick us. Don't believe her lies.
You saw the truth. I never wanted to serve Zariel. I was enlisted in her army against my will. Forced to fight, and fight I did. When I saw an opportunity to get away, I took it. Finally home. Near it, anyway.
You served her. That's enough to damn you.
Oh, come on, Will. You saw what I saw.
Will catches his breath and his lips straighten. Sheer dread twists his face.
You don't know what you're saying. You're asking me to trust a devil.
Okay, Karlach's not a devil, and you know it. So Shadowheart and Will both approve.
Don't want this to end badly for either of us. You know monsters, right? Better than anyone. Look into my eyes. Can't you see I'm not what you think?
Shit. You really are no devil, are you? I've been deceived.
Oh, thank the gods. Thought I was gonna have to take your head.
You would have died in the attempt. But there have been enough threats today.
Truce then, eh?
Aye. Truce.
I'm Karlak, but you already knew that. And you are...
Okay, let's introduce ourselves politely.
Well met, soldier. Nice to meet a friendly around here. It's been tough going so far. I may not be a devil, but I can put the Blade's reputation to work. How would you feel about helping me kill some evil bastards? Little background, if your moral compass needs something to point at. You already know I fought in the Blood War. I was good. Really good. It turns out I've got a knack for killing demons. That made me a valuable asset. Zariel, the archdevil herself, made me as her personal attack dog. I played along until I could get the fuck out of there. But devils don't like to lose their assets. Zariel liked it so little. She sent a bunch of goons, so-called paladins of Tyr, to take me back. Problem is, I'm not going.
Oh, okay. So let's go take care of these paladins. It's something we're going to do pretty much immediately once we get her leveled up with the party and get weapons distributed and all of that.
Fuck yes! They cornered me outside the toll house just up the hill. Doubt they've gone far after the scorching I gave them. Then we can work on evicting this parasite and take Faerun by the short hairs. Sound good?
I like her. She looks like she could throw me over her shoulder and carry me to safety, should the need arise.
I'd hug you if it wouldn't scorch your skin off. Whew. I'm getting all het up. Let's make tracks.
Okay, so she's now part of the party.
When they find out the monster hunter is becoming a monster.
I've faced countless perils and conquered them all. This will be no different.
I've always had a soft spot for the confident ones. They
Okay.
always disappoint.
So she is a barbarian. And at level 2, she's got her reckless attack that she can use, and it will actually ask me if I want to use it, and danger sense. At level 3, default for her is to pick Wild Heart, and she also gets Speak with Animals as a spell. Not bad. Having more than one person to speak with animals, I can do that. But since Will already has Speak with Animals, we can take a look at the other ones. If she goes straight Berserker, she'll be getting Frenzied Strike and Enraged Throw. And Frenzy, I believe she gets that no matter what she takes. No, she doesn't. And she has a Rage Wild Magic. Oh, okay, so for Bestial Heart, her rage comes from one of these. I think I'm going to make her just a stock Berserker rather than a Wild Heart, which will get me Frenzied Strike and Enraged Throw. So you can, like, throw one enemy at another one and they both get, taken out. So your strength affects how much weight you can throw, have your damage do more damage. And the damage of throwing weapons is the same as the weapon's melee damage. And that's a bonus action. Oh, yes, I have found the skill that I want to use. And I hit escape, which took me out of the level up. Try this again. So we are going with the Berserker subclass.
So, Will, now that we've made peace, how about we get to know each other properly? What's your story?
Not so much a story as a pantomime. And I've played my part all too poorly.
Go on. We're listening.
It means that a reckoning's coming. And I'll be the one to pay up.
You make it sound like a harvest of devils coming for your throat.
You're closer than you know. One night soon when we make camp, the veil will be lifted, and I'll face my penance.
Should I be worried about this?
You're not in any danger, I promise. I can't say the same about me.
Don't be shy.
Okay, so we've leveled up, and now I want to set up her hotbar. And I have found the easiest way for me to do that is to take everything off the hotbar, except for these. Oops. CV, VX, CV, like that. So, clean hotbars. And make sure these are in the right place. Like that. And now we go to her spell book, and I start copying things in, starting with the commons. She has a cantrip that helps out her thaumaturgy, and a Legacy of Avernus, which is a really huge evocation spell. Does massive damage, puts things on fire, once per long rest. I need to have my weapons in hand before I start doing this. So Karlak has a light crossbow and a great axe. Well, I am going to give her the Everburn blade. So she was at +5, 4 to 15. Everburn blade. Actually, that only adds 1 point to her low end. You know what? I'm going to give the Everburn blade to Will. So he's at +5, 4 to 13 with this summoned Pact-Bound Glaive. If I give him the Everburn blade, he needs to hit his Bind Pact weapon. That makes him proficient with it. So 5 to 15, so that's slightly better. And we will be evaluating more weapons for Karlak as time goes by, but she does have the right weapons now. Let's see. The locket is Dancing Lights. I will put that on Karlak. Add to wares. So I brought an extra light crossbow, but apparently she already has one. So this is add to wares. And she needs a torch. She has 2 potions of healing. She will be frontline. I'm going to give her a few more. Those are the ones that I crafted, which didn't stack. I am the thief, so I get those, and the rest of this is good to go. There. And that compacts our inventory, and we can see that. Oh, Scroll of Revivify. Let's give that to Karlak. Okay, so she has 5 health potions, 2 scrolls of Revivify, and a hotbar that I haven't set up yet. But you notice when I messed with her weapons, it put a whole bunch of things in. So we will get to that in a moment. So Berserker, her class actions are Frenzied Strike, must be enraged, and Frenzy, which is her enrage. I'll put enrage here, and Frenzied Strike below it. So there's Rage and there is her Strike. And Reckless Attack, she can do at any time. It actually will ask us about it. And Enraged Throw. So here's her Rage stuff. common. She has the ability to get a advantage on intimidation and performance checks for the next 10 rounds. And her dancing lights from her amulet. And this is going to be kind of special. I will put that over here. So weapon actions. Main hand attack. Ranged attack. Piercing shot. Cleave. Now prepare sacrifices some movement speed done once per short rest to get more damage. So this is a I do this as I think as part of your movement. So main hand attack, lacerate, and cleave are her attack actions. She's got that offhand, not offhand, but as a non-action piercing shot, and I believe that's got all of those. Okay, dip. Oh, she's already got hide on the bar. Shove, throw, improvised melee weapons, kind of like throw. We've got dash, and we've got disengage. We've got help. How did I set those up on my other characters? Okay, that goes there, that goes there. Whoops. Will has some things he needs to move around. Pommel strike. So I was doing a columnar. Oops. Pommel strike and cleave. There. And I'm going to move this Legacy of Avernus over. This takes up the action and the bonus action. And I believe Dancing Lights, I tried it out once earlier. I think it's stuck on the ground rather than sticking to a person. So there's her hotbar. What am I missing? Passives. Is that where I was putting it? No, I was putting it lower right-hand corner. And I want to have her ask before doing any reactions. And now she's set up. See, how are we doing? She has expended almost all of her level 1 slots. So before we head in to take care of the paladins, I'm going to want to get a long rest in. And why are my outlines set up like that? I thought I had turned that off. Options. No. Okay, so all the highlights are set to circle. So how am I getting the outlines? Well, let's see. Let's set my... I'm betting the flag got set and didn't get unset. So let's go to overview and back, and it's not changing anything. Okay, so that's stuck on. That's unfortunate. Anyway, let's go get ourselves a long rest. Oh, that's right. Something happens with Will.
She's coming.
Well, you've been naughty. And you know what happens when you're naughty.
God damn it. Anyone but her.
Time to let the Hellcat out of the bag. Call me Mizora. I'm Will's patron, the fount of his power. My pet's been unruly, and his leash needs a yank. We had a deal, Will. But Karlak's still breathing.
I've taken more pleasant shits than you, Mizora. And at least those can be buried after.
That's no kind of talk for a lady. By the way, Karlak, Zariel sends her regards.
You told me! Devils only! She's a tiefling, not a monster!
How precious. The little pupster's found his bark.
Clause G, Section 9. Target shall be limited to the infernal, the demonic, the heartless, and the soulless. Karlak meets the criteria, pet. Trust me on this.
Killing Mizora probably isn't in our power if she's a patron of warlocks, so
The point? Oh, yes.
let's let the
Thanks for the reminder.
encounter play out.
Will burns in the fires of Avernus. The lightning storms of Dis strike his flesh. His soul passes through each layer of the hells, gaining their essence and their torment.
Will, you've changed.
That's better.
What the hells have you done?
A promise broken, a price paid. You know the terms.
Get used to the new form, pet. There's no going back. Some magic even I can't undo. Now, let's see how the frontiers fare without their precious blade.
Karlak, keep an eye on him, would you? I'll be keeping mine on you.
Oh, and Will, don't forget, our pact still stands. Ta-ta.
Okay, we need to talk to people. Those outlines really kind of bug me.
I'll be honest, soldier, I'm reeling. Will hardly knows me, but he chose my life over his. Been a long time since someone stuck their neck out for me like that. You can say that again. When he was chasing me through Avernus, I thought he was just another sad merc. How wrong I was.
Okay, so I suspect that Karlak and Will are going to get along just fine.
Good time for a chat.
God's damn her, straight back to the hells. Just look at me. I did what was right, and Mizora made me pay for it.
I don't know, I think
I'd
the
be
horns
hunting
work.
devils and demons, she said. Traitors and hypocrites, heartless evils of all sorts, but not Zariel's victims. Not innocent tieflings.
Okay, so there was an Arcana check that I could have passed there. Okay, so yeah, Bleed of Frontiers is going to have some explaining to do.
I'll say what I can, but it won't be enough. It's Mizora who grants me the power to conjure armor and cast eldritch blasts. Before I was infected, I could even call hell beasts and summon festering clouds, but I promise you, every thrust of my blade and every flame I sparked was for the good of the coast.
Okay, so apparently the lore in game is that having those tadpoles inserted in our brains is what took us back to level 1. That makes sense. What are the
I
terms of
can't
your pact?
utter the terms or circumstances of the pact. I can tell you most all else, but the pact, I'm forbidden, unless Mizora permits it. But I'll say this. The moment I pacted myself to Mizora, I have not regretted for a heartbeat. It was my proudest deed. It was worth the sacrifice. All I can give you on that is my solemn word.
Okay, so he's cool. He's changed shape. Are there nothing additional on the hotbar we need to worry about? So this is the armor that he was talking about summoning, unless he was referring to maybe a standard build of him would include mage armor, but like I said, Will's dexterity is not high enough for us to make adequate use of mage armor, really. I mean, it would help if we couldn't wear armor, but we can wear light armor. So, yeah, we'll see. Oh,
Well, that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
let's get our... Someone in camp still wishes to speak to us. Oh. Hello, Withers.
Moving ahead. What's up for discussion?
Not this one, nor this one, and this one are less worthy still.
More riddles?
I riddle thee not. I speak only what requires telling. Beyond mortal realms, there doth exist an amalgamation of spirits akin to thine own, ensnared by the treacherous cult of the Absolute, felled in its name. They bear great discontentment with their destiny. For a mere pittance of coin, I might summon the worthiest among them to lend aid to thy undertaking.
Would this be willingly?
Most willingly, forsooth. Their passions doth run deep for what hath been wrought upon them.
Can I trust them?
Suspicion always haunts the guilty mind. My services are all that I can proffer thee. What thou wilt do with them is for thee to undertake.
Okay, so I could change or reset my class at this point, and I think this particular line ends up with a change or reset class that doesn't cost any gold, which is kind of interesting. If so, I'm going to try this again. Let's roll it back. I'm going to come over with Shadowheart and see if I can change her to be a life cleric. Not worth spending money on, but if I can get that done for free, I'll be very happy. Okay, so I still need to repeat the conversation with Will.
God's damn, just look, I'd be not
Warlock pacts tend to be unforgiving from what you know
Oh,
of them.
that succeeded.
It's lucky he didn't face a more severe punishment.
Let's use the option that comes up
I'd
with.
count my luck. It's before I was in, but I promise you, every thrust of my blade and every I can't, but it was worth this.
Okay, so that's done. I want to switch over to Shadowheart and go talk to Withers.
I'd better do the talking.
Now let's save just before I talk to him, just in case.
Another. Thy name has been recorded. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
Okay, so I'm not sure the textual path that got me to the free class change.
Beyond mortal, they, for a mere
This sounds
pittance of
familiar.
coin, most willingly, forsooth. Suspicion always. Should thou or any of thy compatriots perish, I will cleave because it is my calling.
Okay.
There is little else to explain.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I got to. Can you help me change my class? It didn't cost any gold. If I have the 100 gold, I will go ahead and do it. So I'm paying the 100 gold, and she is going to be a cleric of the life. Let's see, cantrips. Her stock is resistance, sacred flame, and guidance. I don't use sacred flame very much, but light sure would come in handy. In fact, I don't use either of those two very much. Let's go with light and produce flame. It's a neat way to throw 1d8 fire at somebody. Throwing the flame immediately after you conjure it does not cost an action. So with one action, I can produce the flame and throw it. Subclass. By default, she is trickery, which gets her things like charm and disguise self and blessing of the trickster. To look at the rest of these, life is where I think I'm going, but war domain would be favor, shield of faith, war priest. So war priest is if she's going in melee. We're going to have some good melee. I mean, we'll have Karlak, who's a barbarian. Will be able to do decent melee. I am stepping in there and doing a lot of melee damage. Tempest domain. We saw what a Tempest cleric can do at higher levels. But like I said, I really need healing. So nature domain. Shillelagh is staff does 4 to 11 bludgeoning damage and uses my spellcasting ability for the attack rolls, which is kind of cool. But again, I don't need her to be doing melee. Knowledge domain, command and sleep. Kind of cool. So light gets light cantrip for free, burning hands and fairy fire, and divine light. But I want to focus on healing. So if I go with life domain, this is where the healing comes in, which is the classic cleric. Cure wounds and bless are my life domain spells now, which is what I really want to focus on doing. And as a life domain cleric, when casting a healing spell, the target regains additional hit points equal to 2 plus the spell level. That's huge. Now, for abilities, this is, I believe, this might be stock. Well, obviously, wisdom is her spell casting ability. And she's going to be mostly just casting spells. Stock build is wisdom followed by strength, and everything else is just kind of there. I'm going to set this up manually. No point in going to 17 because unless you have an odd number here and an odd number there, if I put it at 16, going to 17 would cost me extra. So start off with, what if we have no minuses? I can get to 16 strength, which means I would be doing more damage when I actually swing a melee weapon. I don't want her swinging a melee weapon. I'm going to pause for just a second and, well, see, what does it say to recommended? If I just take the recommended and adjust it slightly. So knock the wisdom down, so we don't actually lose out on anything by doing this. But we do get our -1 from intelligence back up to normal. Now, strength, I believe if I knock charisma down by 2, I can get strength up to 16. Constitution's hit points, I might prefer to bump Constitution up and maybe make Constitution my +1 like that. Oops. So we get the +2 to wisdom and +1 to Constitution. Everything else flat 10s, and I'll bring the strength up to 13. So she will be focused almost entirely on, oh, wait a minute. Now, there's really nothing else that I can beneficially make odd. Hold on, I'm going to look up some cleric builds and spend a little bit of time researching before I finish her off. Okay, I didn't need to look very far. I just saw something that reminded me dexterity does contribute to my armor class, if that's always good, especially since I will be trying to maintain concentration. So constitution for hit points and dexterity for not getting hit. I believe con is also the saving throw you make for maintaining concentration, so that's good. And wisdom, of course, is my casting stat, 16, because 17 doesn't actually make anything any better. Okay, proficiencies. History and medicine are what she was going to get. She's got religion and insight automatically, and of the rest, yeah, let's put history and medicine in because I don't need persuasion on her. So there's her respec all done. Now she needs to level up. Level 2, she picks up spell slots and turn undead and preserve life. I believe preserve life is different. I don't recall seeing it before, but this is 3 healing. Evoke an healing energy that restores your allies. This sounds like a group heal, range 30 feet. I am not sure how often I can do it. Oh. Hitting escape is bad. And we are going to prepare spells after all this is done. No choices at level 2. At level 3, more spell slots and some additional spells. And we will, she always, as a cleric, she always gets all the spells available to her. She just has to prepare which ones. So Life Domain, we get Aid and Lesser Restoration as domain spells. Yay! These are all things that I expect out of my healer. So spellbook. Clear all this out. And rework all of this. Pull all this up. Okay, so she's got cantrips. I could have sworn I switched out cantrips. Oh, fudge. Hold on. Let me rerun through that again. I will be back. I will unpause once I got back here after fixing my cantrips in the respec. Okay, found it. If you talk to Withers once with Shadowheart and then leave the conversation, now it puts her in the same state as my main character was, and I was able to follow the same conversational path with Withers that I followed with my main character, and I believe this means I can change or reset my class with no cost to gold. We'll find out later. I will have to check the gold. But I'm going to run through this real quick. I'll just leave the recording running. Class cleric, cantrips. I want guidance and light and produce flame. Okay. And we are life cleric, which means we get cure wounds and bless and all that stuff. And now we clear this out, and I am wisdom and dexterity or constitution. When is wisdom and constitution, I think? Why is this not letting me change where the bonus is? There, okay. Wisdom, constitution. Oh, come on. Clicking on the wrong thing. So we wanted 14 dexterity for the +2 armor class, 16 con for the +3 to the concentration saving throw, and I think intelligence is the dump stat, yeah. And skill proficiencies are okay. Checking here, we have firebolt because we're half elf, so we don't really need produce flame because we have firebolt as a half elf. Rather than produce flame, yeah, okay, I give up. We're going to go with resistance. I will keep light over sacred flame, though. And now we can do the proper level up for her. There we go, there it is. So she's gaining spell slots, divinity charges, turn undead, and preserve life. And at level 3, more slots, level 2 spells, and specifically Lesser Restoration and Aid are life domain spells. So, yay! I will not generally leave Lesser Restoration. You already know this spell. Okay, so she gets it as a spell, and she gets a better version of it from her domain. So normally Aid is 5 healing. How is this one a better? I will worry about that when I'm preparing spells. So yeah, don't really have any choice here except what spells we prepare. And since we can re-prepare spells anytime we're not in combat in Baldur's Gate 3, that's not a worry. So now we get into the spell book, unprepare everything, and start laying out our spells. Everything off the bar to begin with. So cantrips. Resistance and guidance we've got over here. And I'm going to put light out. I'm not sure where light's going to go. Class actions, prepare, turn undead, and preserve life are the biggie class actions. So Preserve Life is an action that channels divinity, so it will take up a charge of my channel divinity. And I believe I have one charge of that right now, and that will replenish on a short rest. I will get more charges later. Okay, so that's got my cantrips, my class actions out. Spells that are always available. Bless, and Cure Wounds, and Aid, and Lesser Restoration. So these are always prepared for me. Yay! So, level 2 spells that I want to prepare. I'm not familiar with these. I'm going to pause the recording while I read through them. Okay, just to repeat, I am not an expert in D&D clerics, aside from having played campaigns where I had good clerics. What they did was always kind of mysterious to me. For example, a Tempest cleric in Curse of Strahd always seemed to be pulling abilities out that I had never heard of before and using them to completely change the tide of battle. This is a pure healing cleric, so as I was looking through the spells, I picked the following ones, and it put them in some order up here, going from right to left, the most powerful ones first. Spiritual Weapon. If I get into combat, as a bonus action, I can pull in this Spiritual Weapon that's going to be doing 1d8 plus 3 damage on its attacks. I'm not sure if I have to roll a melee attack for that or what. We'll see what happens the first time I use it. Silence, which is a soundproof sphere which lasts 100 turns. I have seen those. I have been subject to those. Now, notice that this has a mark ritual. In tabletop, ritual casting takes a while. I think it takes an hour. In Baldur's Gate, if it's ritual tagged, you can cast it out of combat at 0 cost. So if we are facing a bunch of casters, this may be our best combat opener, so we cast a ritual cast Silence, forcing the casters to move out of the sphere into a inferior position before they can cast anything. Potentially interesting. Command. Ever since I found out that I could use command during the prologue to score that flaming sword, I have decided that I like command. So my priest will continue to have command. If the target fails their wisdom save, then I can command them to do all sorts of things like grovel or drop their weapon. This means I need to remember on the warlock, when he is casting his hex, he needs to change the wisdom, he needs to change the attribute to wisdom. Now, I've been reading Hex, and in tabletop, I believe it very specifically says it's an ability check, not saves. And I think I've seen that Baldur's Gate is applying that effect to saving throws. So the first time we actually get a Hex versus Wisdom on a mob, and I use command to cause it to do a save, I'm going to look at the combat log, and I'm going to see if it actually does it. I haven't actually confirmed this specifically. Next is Shield of Faith. So if one of my buddies is about to really get hammered on, I can, as a bonus action, put a shield on them, which punches their armor class up by 2. So an additional, of all the attacks, 10% of them that would have hit are now going to miss. It's not huge, but it certainly helps. Healing Word. Bonus action healing at a distance. So my normal heals here, I have to touch, and it's an action. Well, I can toss a healing word out across the battlefield, doing 1d4 plus 3 damage, 1d4 plus 3 healing as a bonus action. This is really great. If somebody is downed, I can hit him with healing word, and they stand right back up. And if I'm not using any other spells at level 1, I can do that 4 times per, in the combat. I just have to, take a rest after that. And slot number 1 is Guiding Bolt. So Guiding Bolt says, why do I have so many spells here? Guiding Bolt basically does a bunch of damage, but also makes the next roll have additional damage. So, oh, that's right. First column is things I always have prepared, and then automatically put these in. And I'm not sure what order it set them up. I am going to place them in the same order they show up on my character sheet. I think this system remembers what spell goes where if I explicitly put it in place. There we go. I want these to always land in the same place, even if I mess around with my my slots. Okay, so she's all set here. I've got her leveled up. I've got her spells picked out. I've got everything on her hotbars. And apparently, that did expend the 100 gold, even though the option didn't say 100. So that actually, as an engineer, I look at that and say, okay, instead of being a fundamental problem with sometimes you get to this option, it's free, and sometimes it costs 100, now it's just, well, the menu option didn't list the cost, which is a bug, but it's a lesser bug.
Let's get going.
So we have not yet done our long rest. I'm looking at the length of the recording, and I'm going to do the long rest, and then we're going to start a new recording for going and messing up the paladins. At some point, I've actually gotten this achievement already of doing an entire camp just on the alcohol. But for now, I'm going to continue to select the supply packs until I have enough alcohol to do an entire round of full rest just on booze. It's kind of fun to trigger that little thing. I'm sure nothing will trigger because I've already done it once, so I've got the achievement in Steam. Full rest. Hey, nothing happened. Okay, so I will save up and start a new recording for going and getting the paladins. Back in a second.